Hi yogis, Svadhisthana Chakra is represented by the color orange. I didn't have anything orange to wear, but I did have this orange yoga mat for myself and Spruce Man. He has an orange collar. There we go. He's got this chakra is located right below your coccyx, in line with your belly button. Spruce Man has his in line, and the sound is vam. We'll practice that in the poses in a moment. Vam, vam, vam. And the connection is creativity, safe social boundaries, and freedom from addiction. So you understand by checking in with what this chakra represents, safe social boundaries, you start to understand what your default reaction is to all of the people and the relationships that you engage in every day, and then you figure out the best method for participating in those relationships. And by doing that, so the first step is to create a healthy self relationship. And the symbol for this chakra is this 6-pointed lotus flower, and the 6 points represent 6 negative qualities of yourself, of relationships. So anger, jealousy, hatred, cruelty, desire, and pride are all of the 6 negative points of this 6-pointed lotus that you strive to dissolve. Having this chakra in balance is represented by happy relationships, inspired creativity at work and in your personal life. Spruce and I have a really happy relationship. Sometimes he's a bit bothersome. And then, so the signs of this chakra being out of balance are addiction, unhealthy relationships, and sort of feeling codependent on the people that you are in relationships with. So not being able to rely on yourself often enough. And your focus to bring this chakra back into balance is to strive for mutually beneficial relationships. And those aren't just romantic relationships. These are relationships with your peers at work, with your family members, with strangers on the street, just mutually beneficial relationships. And you can do that by avoiding people who fill you with anger and dread. You know, if somebody brings up one of these 6 negative qualities of the chakra, jealousy or cruelty or hatred, avoid them. Don't check up on people on social media. It's always tempting, but don't do that. But conversely, don't validate your own choices and your own existence by posting things on social media. You can always ask yourself, why am I posting this update on social media? Is it just to share the good news or to ask for support, or am I validating my own choices by seeking attention from the larger world, from the larger community? And finally, bring this chakra into balance by avoiding social pressure. You can call it JOMO, the joy of missing out. Just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean that you have to participate in some trend or popular way of living. Do the things that make you feel respectful of yourself, and that in turn cultivate safe relationships with other people. So the poses that we're going to do to represent this chakra, again, it's located in your coccyx, just in line with your belly button. We'll start with Upavistha Konasana, which is wide-legged forward fold. Separate your feet as wide as you can on your mat, and then bring your hands down in front of you and just tip slightly forward on your hips. So your feet are really strongly engaged. You always have to turn sideways on your mat for this one in the studio. Your feet are really strongly engaged, pressing back towards your knees. Straighten your arms, look up slightly, take a breath in, and then Upavistha Konasana, wide-legged forward fold. Come down and onto your elbows, and you can come as deeply or as not so deeply as you want into the pose, just hands resting on the mat. And there's a really strong engagement in your core. So just in line with your belly button, you're almost sucking your tummy in, engaging your core to stay in this forward fold. Picture the color orange. And then if you like, hold each of the negative qualities of the chakra in your mind and then dissolve them one by one. Like, imagine they're in a bubble, and then you poke them with an arrow or whatever. You dissolve the word inside the bubble. Anger, jealousy, hatred, cruelty, desire, and pride. Goodbye. The next pose, Eka Pada Kapotasana, king, flying, pigeon. Some days I can do it and some days I can't, but we'll get there from downward facing dog. Actually, we'll just use downward facing dog to warm up. Just come forward to high plank and just step one foot, just warming up your hips just a little bit. So you can simultaneously engage your core strength here and just step your feet forward and back a couple of times. Downward facing dog, and then walk your feet to meet your hands in the middle of the mat. Stand up. Right ankle will cross over left knee. Look up, hands at your heart center, and then there is some variation of the pose that's available to you. It always just depends on the flexibility of your hips, and some days you're just not that flexible. Plant your hands on the mat, look up for balance, bend your elbows, and then extend your foot back and behind you. Hold for as long as you possibly can. There are some days that I can do that pose and some days that I can't. Come up part way, fold forward, stand up. We'll try it on the other side. So you can use your back foot for balance. The trick is to really hook your elbow with your front foot. Press back, downward facing dog. No harm, no foul if you can't do it. Come up, meet your hands with your feet in the middle of the mat, halfway lift and lengthen, fold forward, and then stand all the way up. Inhale. Bring your hands down to your heart center. So we'll just try it one more time. Flying pigeon. Starting with your right leg, this again, hands at heart center, and then slowly start to squat down. Feel the stretch through your outer hip. Really strong engagement in the core is obviously the trick, but it's a combination of flexibility and strength that gives you space to come into this pose. Hook your arm with your with your right foot, and then make some space. You're going to have to bravely rock your weight forward and then extend your foot behind you. And come on out. Just feet come down, halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. We'll do it one more time on the other side. Stand all the way up. Engage your core strength. Belly on your hand, just as a little hand on your belly, just as a little reminder. Really strong engagement at your belly button. Other side. Cross your left foot, ankle over your right knee. Hands at heart center first. Hook your foot. And then extend. So honestly, this is the knee that I had knee surgery on just a year ago, and it's not quite as strong as the other foot, but like I'm demonstrating, you can balance with your right foot on the mat behind you. Hold for one more breath in, really strong core strength, and then press back, downward facing dog. Walk your hands to meet your feet in the middle of the mat. Your heart center. Ardha Chandrasana, balancing half moon. So both flying pigeon and balancing half moon, it demand this really strong engagement of your core. So it lets you tune into this chakra that's in line with your belly button. Again, like I said, the poses are just a representation of the chakras. They don't have to have anything. The chakras are this metaphysical model for understanding your well-being, and the yoga poses are just our application of the shapes and the representation of the chakra. So balancing half moon, your left hand is on the mat, your right hand is reaching up towards the ceiling, and then once you're in here, repeat the sound of this chakra. Vam, 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 vam. So it's V-A-M. Hands and feet down to the mat, and we'll switch sides. Balancing half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, right fingertips down, left hand pulls up and towards the ceiling. And then 6 times, repeat the sound, each time imagining that you're dissolving one of the negative qualities of the chakra. Vam, 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 vam. Anger, jealousy, hatred, cruelty, desire, and pride. Goodbye, let them go, and then close off the pose. Hands come down, feet come down. Tuck yourself in to a forward fold. Just a safe forward fold here. Very strong engagement through your belly button, through your mid-body. And just this feeling of safety with who you are. And then you let that feeling, come on up to standing, you let that feeling of safety with who you are extend beyond your own heart and into your relationships with everyone that you interact with. Just rest your hands on your belly. Close your eyes, visualize the color orange. Namaste, yogis. Thank you for practicing with me. Until we meet again.